The creation of the Galactic Empire was the final step in the culmination of the Sith's grand plan, set forth by the Sith Lord Darth Bane's Rule of Two, an ingenious plan that would end with the Sith toppling the Jedi without the need to draw a lightsaber, instead infiltrating the Republic and working from the shadows to weaken the Jedi until it was time to bring forth a new era of darkness, with Sheev Palpatine being the last Sith Lord from Bane's Rule of Two, along with the Dark Chosen One and Darth Vader, who witnessed the culmination of everything the Sith had worked up to until this very moment. Though Palpatine was always one step ahead, manipulating everyone and everything from the shadows under the guise of a concerned senator, Darth Sidious could not have imagined the transformation that his empire had undergone following his destruction at the Battle of Endor. Over 100 years after his passing, the Imperial remnants would be reorganized under a new emperor who garnered respect through the admiration of his own forces rather than imposing his will through fear as Palpatine once did. However, like the Empire, the Sith Order would evolve as well, bringing forth the rule of one under the Sith Lord Darth Krayt, who would reorganize the Sith under the rule of a single Dark Lord. Lord Krayt's ambitions would lead him to seek an alliance with the reformed empire at the time, ruled over by the Emperor Rowan Fel, to overthrow the new Jedi Order, eventually betraying Fel once the Jedi Order was decimated, usurping Rowan Fel and placing himself as the new Emperor. This event would shake the foundation of the Empire to its core, as thousands of troops would find their loyalty split between those still loyal to Rowan Fel and those who sided with Krayt's Sith Empire. Veterans and rookies alike were forced to choose sides as to which ideals they were willing to die for. Krayt's iron grip on the Imperials was felt through all the regimes, as each one was overseen by a Sith loyal to Krayt's order. Over the course of 7 years since Krayt appointed himself Emperor, dozens of Imperial soldiers under Krayt's empire found themselves defecting back to Rowan, as the Sith cared little for any Imperial whatsoever, dropping anyone who even thought to question the Sith's orders. Though these were dark times for any Imperial recruit under the rule of the Sith, there were those who embraced the harshness of Krayt's rule, perhaps out of fear, a survival tactic followed by many of the officers and troopers in the Stormtrooper Corps. We now follow the story of Anson Trask, an Imperial recruit fresh out of the academy and assigned to the 407th Stormtrooper Corps, known as Joker Squad. Right from touching down on the planet of Yingchor, the rookie Anson Trask was deployed just 10 days after finishing training. Trask was immediately met by other stormtroopers already giving him a hard time for his lack of experience on the field, as Anson made his way to the rendezvous coordinates he had been sent by his new squad. However, the coordinates themselves did not match from what he could tell, as no troopers near him ever claimed to be part of Joker Squad. This prompted Trask to ask a hooded figure for directions, something he would come to regret later on. Once the figure turned to meet Trask's gaze, the hooded being turned out to be a Sith of the Quarren species, directly sent from Krayt's Sith Order. Before any of them could react, Sergeant Harkis of Joker Squad claimed to Trask as one of his own, claiming he was supposed to wait for the sergeant by the shuttle to claim him, apologizing to Lord Malevel for the rookie's lack of familiarity before the Sith could deal his idea of discipline to the young trooper. Later, it is revealed by the sergeant that there were never any orders for Trask to wait by the ship, and he was only protecting Anson from what Lord Malevel would have done. Once Trask meets and gets acquainted with the other Jokers, some are hesitant to even learn Trask's name, as rookie soldiers tend to not last very long on the field, with some of the squad members betting on how long Trask would last on the field, arguing that the recruit would not last more than 6 hours, to which Trask responded by placing a bet on himself that he would last a month on the field. As troopers settle down, they are then briefed on their upcoming mission by Lieutenant Gil Castle. Castle then goes on to address the rumors going around in the Stormtrooper divisions, confirming that in fact some of them had begun to defect back to Rowan Fel. This included the 908th Division that had been stationed on the planet of Borosk. The mission of Joker Squad was to eliminate the 908th Division before they could break away from Krayt's empire. Some troopers from the Joker division did not take this lightly, as they were literally being given orders to execute their own, to which Castle responded that the 908th stopped being one of their own the moment they decided to join Rowan Fel. The Sith's presence was to ensure they executed Emperor Krayt's order, given the increasing number of rogue troops within their ranks. And with that being stated, Joker Squad had packed up their gear and departed for Borosk. The battle that followed was fierce, as Joker Squad stormed the 908th headquarters with Lieutenant Castle and Sergeant Harkis leading the charge. Everyone seemed to know and execute their objective without hesitation, all except for Anson, as he found himself frozen in the heat of battle, as he was unsure if he could tell the difference between his squad and forces of the 908th, as they were all wearing the same armor. Trask also witnessed the full might of Lord Malevolent as he cut down and executed any trooper unfortunate enough to find themselves in the Sith's path. Trask had heard the stories of what the Jedi and Sith were capable of, however this was the first time Anson had witnessed that power personally. Deep in the mind of Trask we are given a glimpse into his thoughts, as he did not know what frightened him more, the fact that the Sith did not fight with a clear indication as to which trooper were loyal to the Sith, and disposed of the troops with a kind of violence that would leave any man frozen just as he was, something that the Sith enjoyed while committing the atrocious acts. Trask found it difficult to find the target, however one quickly presented itself as Trask managed to take out a trooper aiming for one of his comrades, realizing that any trooper going for any member of Joker Squad was now the enemy. Joker Squad managed to push back the 908th, retreating deeper into their HQ. This was how Anson Trask got through his first day as an official stormtrooper of the Empire. Later that night, they were briefed by Lord Malevolent that Joker Squad was to lead the attack on the 908th Division the next day. It was to be a full-on assault which left no survivors. Lieutenant Castle had advocated for a truce to be offered to the troops of the 908th in order to be given a chance to at least surrender themselves. This idea was brutally shut down by Lord Malevolent, who reiterated that any member of Joker Squad hesitated they were to be executed on the spot by Malevolent himself. It was revealed as well that Castle also had a brother who served in the opposing division, a connection that would influence his decision to advise a surrender no matter how much he tried to hide it from the Sith. This caused an uproar within most members of Joker Squad, as they never envisioned themselves destroying their own comrades, brothers and sisters in arms, all sporting the same white armor. Some even questioned whether they should also join Fel and desert the Krait's empire, perhaps even aid the 908's escape, or leave the army behind. None were sure of what to do next. Under the threat of persecution, not even Lieutenant Castle was sure of what their next move should be. However, Sergeant Harkis took to himself to put to rest all this uncertainty going around the Jokers, asking Trask what their first duty was, to which Anson answered that it was to obey the orders of a superior officer. Harkis accepted this statement, and in his eyes, all of Joker Squad had to do the same. They were soldiers. They did not get to question. They did not get to choose the missions they were a part of. Their only job was to complete their mission, whatever it takes, no matter the cost. Harkis was going to complete the mission and his duty. Appealing to their sense of duty, Joker Squad was set to complete their mission, personal feelings aside. By midday the next day, they had breached the main fortress. They had managed to push their way to the main mess hall, where they were met by an automatic turret placement in the upper levels of the hall. This sight alone was enough to distract one of the Jokers who unknowingly stepped on a landmine set by the 908th, destroying him instantly. If it were not for the rookie Anson Trask shielding the lieutenant as best as he could, if not, he too would have also met a similar fate. Another Joker would fall victim to a stray blaster bolt that managed to hit one of their power packs on their utility belt, completely obliterated as a result, with Harkis also taking a hit from the resulting explosion, just barely surviving the blast. The 908th and Joker Squad fought to the bitter end, both sides fighting for different ideals set in place by their commanding superiors. As the battle reached its end, there was still one loose end that needed to be dealt with courtesy of Darth Malevolent. The Sith had arrived at the mess hall dragging the near-lifeless body of Lieutenant Castle's brother, Captain Jared Castle of the 908th. Malevolent had ordered Gil to execute his brother where he barely stood, or he along with his brother would both fall by Lord Malevolent's blade. Jared urged his brother to finish the job, as there was no way both of them would survive this ordeal. Even with the approval of his brother, Lieutenant Gil Castle could not bring himself to kill his brother in cold blood. Some things were just more important than duty, than life. As Malevolent declared them both traitors, he raised his blade ready to strike down the Castle brothers. However, one of the members of Joker Squad jumped at the chance and stabbed the Sith with a Durasteel blade, to which the Sith shrugged off, backhanding the trooper. After this, Malevolent wrapped an electric tether around the trooper's neck, electrocuting the man. During the ensuing chaos, Anson Trask acted and put several blaster bolts behind the back of Darth Malevolent, putting down the unhinged Sith once and for all. After these events, the official report for the Battle of Barask read that Lord Malevel was killed in the heat of battle with the 908th. The trooper that was almost destroyed by the Sith, Hondo Kar, according to the report, was vaporized by the same explosion that claimed the life of the Joker, who fell victim to the explosion from his power pack, though Kar himself still lived. His death a part of the falsified report. Hondo Kar walked away from the army that day, and according to Trask, he had not seen the trooper since. According to our records found within our vaults, Trooper Anson Trask assumed command of Joker Squad while Sergeant Harkis recovered from his injuries, with orders from his commanding sergeant to keep the troopers of Joker Squad alive till his return, something that Anson accepted with great pride and responsibility following the years of the Sith Imperial crisis. This is the end of our vault recording, my friends. As always, I would love to hear your own thoughts and inputs regarding these stories found in our Legends archives. In the end, I feel that Anson Trask's loyalties did not lie with Krait's Empire, or Ruan Fel's for that matter, but with each of the members of the 407th Division, known as Joker Squad. Be safe, my friends, and remember, the Force will be with you, always.